Good morning, students. I hope you are all fine. It's our social studies class, and in the previous part of the social studies class, which was about unit number 6, money and banks, and in that previous part, we learned about how money was invented, how money is used today, and what banks are and how they help people keep their money safe. Now, in the second part of this chapter, we are going to learn some more interesting topics. We will learn about the State Bank of Pakistan, how banks help people, and we will also read about a very inspiring person named Roshani Zafar who helped poor people by giving them small loans. After that, we will also discuss how people earn money, the different types of jobs people do, and finally, we will read a very interesting story from the time of Akbar about lending money and honesty. So, students, get ready with your books and notebooks, and let's continue the next half of our chapter, that is money and banks. Now I am going to read from page number 62, and first topic is the State Bank of Pakistan. The State Bank of Pakistan is the central bank of Pakistan and is run by the government. The bank was founded in 1947. Its headquarters are in Karachi and there is another main office in Islamabad. There are many other banks in Pakistan. Now, on another topic, how can banks help people? As well as keeping your money safe, banks also lend money to people. People can borrow money from the bank and then pay it back over time. They can borrow money to buy a new house or car, for example, or they may want to borrow money to start a new business. Most banks, however, do not lend money to poorer people. This is because they are worried that the loan will not be paid back. Roshani Zafar wanted to help these poor people. She worked in a bank and one day she found out about the work of the Grameen Bank in Bangladesh. The Grameen Bank gave small loans to poor people who wanted to improve their lives. Roshani decided she wanted to do this in Pakistan too. So, in 1996, she set up the Kashaf Foundation to help poor people. Roshani wanted to help poor women, especially because it was harder for women to borrow money than men. Now, from next page, page number 63. Roshani tells the story of one of these women who had a small loan from her foundation. Shahida had 5 children when her husband died. Her husband ran a shop in Lahore, buying and selling motorcycle parts. Shahida had to earn money for her family. So, with a very small loan, she reopened her late husband's shop. After she paid off the first loan, she got a second loan for money and eventually she employed 5 men. She built a new house for her family and she sent all her children to good schools, some of whom went to university. The Kashaf Foundation has helped thousands of other women like Shahida to improve their lives and get out of poverty. The story tells us how, if we use money wisely, we can improve our own lives and those of others too. Now, dear students, I am going to explain the two topics again, the State Bank of Pakistan and how can banks help people. The State Bank of Pakistan is the central bank of our country. It is run by the government and it controls and manages the banking system of Pakistan. This bank was founded in 1947, the same year when Pakistan became an independent country. The headquarters of the State Bank are in Karachi. There is also another main office in Islamabad. The State Bank is very important because it controls the money system and supervises other banks in the country. Besides the State Bank, there are also many other banks in Pakistan that provide services to people. Now, how can banks help people? Students, banks help people in many ways. First, banks keep people's money safe instead of keeping money at home. People deposit their money in a bank account. Second, banks also lend money to people. This means people can borrow money from the bank and return it later. For example, people may borrow money to buy a house, buy a car, start a new business. However, many banks usually do not lend money to very poor people because they are worried that the money may not be returned. But some people want to help the poor. One such person is Roshani Zafar. She started the Kashaf Foundation in 1996 to help poor people, especially women, by giving them small loans so they could improve their lives. Now, dear students, I am going to read another topic, and that is how do we earn money? People work to earn money. When students leave school, they can go straight to work. Some children go to college or university to study before they get a job. Many children who come from poor families do not go to school at all. Instead, they help their parents to earn money. People who work are paid money in wages or a salary. They can use the money they earn to buy food and clothing and all the other things they need. Now I am going to read from the next page. There are many different jobs in our country. Some people work as farmers growing the food we need. Some people work in factories making things such as cars, furniture, and medicines. Other people work in offices. Many people are manual workers who are very skilled with their hands. They might be builders or gardeners. For example, there are also dentists, doctors, teachers, nurses, soldiers, artists, cooks, shopkeepers, and fishermen. There are many hundreds of different jobs. Some people earn a lot of money for the work they do, others do not, and some people have a problem finding a job, perhaps because they do not have any education or are not skilled in any way. However, every job has a value and is important to our country. Some jobs are dirty and hard, but someone has to do them. It's important that we show respect for all people, no matter what kind of work they do. Now, dear students, I am going to explain this topic again. Please listen it carefully. People earn money by working. When we work, we are paid in wages or a salary. Wages usually mean payment for a short term or daily job, while a salary is a fixed payment for working for a company or office. Some students, when they finish school, go straight to work. Others may go to college or university first to study before getting a job. Many children from poor families do not get to go to school. Instead, they help their parents to earn money. There are many types of jobs in our country. For example, farmers grow the food we eat. Workers in factories make things like cars, furniture, or medicines. Office workers do jobs in offices. Skilled manual workers include builders or gardeners. Others include doctors, nurses, teachers, soldiers, artists, cooks, shopkeepers, and fishermen. Some people earn a lot of money while others earn less. Some people may have difficulty finding a job because they do not have education or skills. But remember, my dear students, every job has value and importance. Some jobs may be hard or dirty, but someone must do them. That is why we should respect all people no matter what kind of work they do. So, in short, we earn money by working in different jobs, and each job is important for our country and for society. Now, students, I am going to read another topic of this chapter, and which is quite interesting, a story about lending money. This is a story from the time of the Mughal Emperor Akbar. Once there lived two grain merchants who were very good friends. One day, the first grain merchant asked the second merchant to lend him some money. I want to buy some jewelry for my wife, he said. It's going for a bargain price and I don't want to miss out. But I have not sold much grain this month, so I don't have enough money to buy it. The second grain merchant agreed to lend his friend the money. He was happy to think that his friend's wife would be getting some lovely jewelry. But when the second merchant got home, his own wife was very angry. Why didn't you ask him to sign a paper saying he borrowed the money from you? What if he doesn't pay you back? The second merchant replied, don't be silly. I have known him for a long time. I can trust him. But many months went by and the first merchant had not returned the money. I told you so, said the second merchant's wife. So the second merchant decided he would go and ask his friend to return the loan. Loan? What loan? Said the first merchant, and he walked away. The second merchant couldn't believe that his friend would deny that he had borrowed the money, so he went to see Birbal, an important man in the emperor's court. He told him what had happened, and after a few days, both men were called to the court to tell their story. Birbal listened to what both men had to say. Then he said, if the second merchant has no proof that his friend borrowed money from him, then there is nothing more I can do. Now, from the next page, a few days later, Birbal called both men to the court again. He asked them to sell some sacks of grain for him. I will give you some of the money from selling the grain for helping me, he said, and then he gave them several sacks of grain each. After most of the grain had been sold and the sacks were nearly empty, both merchants found a gold coin in the bottom of one of the sacks. The second merchant took the coin back to the Birbal straight away, but the first merchant put the coin in his own money box. Next day, both men went to see Birbal to get their money for selling the grain for him. Didn't you find anything else besides the grain in one of the sacks? He asked the first merchant. No, he replied. Birbal called one of his messengers and whispered to him, go to the first merchant's house, bring back his money box and his son. When the messenger returned with the boy, he asked him to open the money box, and there inside was the gold coin. How did that gold coin get there? He asked. The first merchant's son replied, my father found it in the sack of grain. I asked him to return it to you, but he refused. Birbal commanded the first merchant to pay back the money he owed to the second merchant. Now, from the next page, the gold coin was a test. He said, if a man is dishonest about one coin, he won't hesitate to be dishonest about 500. Now, my dear students, I am going to explain this again. It's a very interesting story from the time of the Mughal Emperor Akbar. It teaches us about honesty and trust. The main points of the story are: there were two grain merchants who were very good friends. One day, the first merchant asked the second merchant for a loan to buy jewelry for his wife. The second merchant agreed to lend the money because he trusted his friend even though his wife worried about it. Months passed and the first merchant did not return the money. When asked, he denied borrowing the money. The second merchant went to Birbal, an important man in Emperor Akbar's court, for help. Birbal tested both men by asking them to sell sacks of grain for him. A gold coin was found in one of the sacks. The second merchant returned it honestly, but the first merchant kept it. Birbal then sent a messenger to the first merchant's house and found the gold coin hidden in his money box. Birbal commanded the first merchant to pay back the money he owed. And the lesson of this story is: Birbal said, if a person is dishonest about one coin, he will not hesitate to be dishonest about much more. So, here the moral of the story is always be honest when borrowing or lending money. Trust is important, but honesty is even more important. So, it is about chapter number 6. Dear students, now your screen you can see the worksheet. Please solve it. Solve first, filling the blanks, and then match the columns correctly. Read each question properly and try to answer based on the lesson we have discussed. Okay, good luck. Now, dear students, you have to solve these four questions. Please revise the whole lesson carefully first that we have learned today, and then write the answers neatly in your copies. Make sure your work is organized and clear and answer each question based on the lesson we have studied. Okay, good luck.